Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we're going to continue our study on the central and divine universe. And we're on, we left on section, let me give you the number here. Last time we left on paragraph, it's paper 14, section 5, paragraph 4. We read paragraph 4 and we got into the pictures, and we're halfway through the pictures. We're down to the fourth circuit, and that's where we're going to start up tonight. Fourth circuit. And we're going to start out reading from the Ascenders Handbook tonight. So everyone that's got the book, go to page 40, I believe it is. And let me say a little prayer and we'll get started. Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to study your wonderful revelation. We thank you for the privilege of doing this. We thank you for the privilege of being together and sharing this wonderful revelation. We thank you for the fact that each of us learn, including me, each and every time we teach, so that we can share this experience. And I hope that's the way it happens in the mansion world. When we get there, we'll each share our experience and we'll all grow from it. We thank you for all of our many blessings, and we thank you for those who listen to us at home, and we pray that you'll bless them also. We say this in the name of your son, Michael, and our local universe created Mother Spirit, and Jesus of Nazareth. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so let's, and Ruth listens to us every week. Just one of the ladies that listens to us from the videos. And I hope she got her book in time, because she emailed me and said she was ordering the book and wanted to follow along with us tonight. So I hope she got it. Okay, so we're on page 40 at the very top of the Ascenders Handbook. And if you don't have it, don't worry about it. We're going to read it to you. And if you do have it, you can follow along. And I'll take the very top paragraph there. And let's see who's up first. Diane, would you take the number 4 after I read the top paragraph?
Well,
and that's page 40 of the Ascenders Handbook. All right. Any ascension pilgrim on visiting paradise can discern the geographic presence of the Trinity. The majority can contact the intellectual reality of the deities, especially the infinite spirit. The spiritual comprehension of the Father and the Son is much more difficult. These are trial trips, and we do not achieve residential status on paradise until after passing through the first circle. In other words, we have to finish them all before we get residential status on paradise. And before Diane reads the fourth, I want to go over this picture in front of us here. This is what they're talking about. When you get on the fourth circuit, you have the opportunity with your graduate guide, a Havona cervical, and a ascender. They prepare you to be in supernafemed to visit paradise. There to meet the Paradise Trinity. However, the majority of ascenders are barely able to intellectually recognize the third person, the infinite spirit. And this is a picture of a secondary supernafem getting ready to seraphim you, and they do that along with your graduate guide and your Havona cervical. Okay, they go along with you on this first paradise journey. Okay, and that's what this picture is about. And this is a supernafem, and these upright things are the friction shields that enclose you. Okay, just so you know what that is. Now we're going to move on to the fourth circuit here, and that paragraph at the top is very, very small. So you're going to get all the information from this paragraph that Diane is going to read right now. Okay.
4. The fourth circuit is known as the Circuit of the Suns, and is in many ways the most intriguing. From here we visit paradise to achieve an understanding contact with the eternal Sun, whose spirit gravity has forever been pulling us towards paradise. While on these worlds, we achieve a new comprehension of the nature and mission of the Creator Sons. 7 worlds on this circuit are special service schools of the Reserve Corps of Michael's Sons. Here we arrive at our first truly mutual understanding of the pilgrims of eternity who journey outward from paradise. The sun finders are the seraphic ministers who instruct us in comprehension of the sun, personality recognition, and differentiation of the sun from the spirit. The test on these inner circuits are our performances in the embrace of the enshroudment of the deity, our spirituality. If we fail, no reasons are given, and there is no criticism. Not many candidates from our super universe fail. Those who do fail return to a different super universe for a millennium before returning to the circuit where they left off. The second attempt is always successful.
Okay, so this is the fourth circuit. Remember, on the third circuit, we did what? We recognized the infinite spirit. Remember back up here on the third circuit? That was our job on the third circuit, or third circuit. I'm losing my mind. The fifth circuit, that's right. I'm going backwards. All right, so it was a fifth circuit. We recognized the infinite spirit, along with whom on the first two? The supreme, right? All right, and the master spirit of our seventh super universe. So on the fourth circuit, what we're looking to recognize and understand is what? The eternal sun. And doing that because of the close relationship of the worlds of the suns on this fourth circuit, we also learn to understand the descending sons of God, the Michaels, right? Along with that, we also learn to understand what? Trinity teacher sons, right? And the magisterial sons also, because they are what? They are descending sons, right? So this sun finder is a superaphic minister, and this sun finder helps us with our comprehension of recognizing the eternal sun. You see that? Okay, and this happens on the fourth circuit. Now, if someone fails to recognize the sun, then what happens? Then you go through this process where these beings are sent to the pilot world on the second circuit, and then they are returned to one of the 7 super universes, but never to the same universe you were at before, right? So that's what this indicates. This is a failure to understand the sun. And that's what these two pictures are about, is returning back. First, you go to the second circuit, and then they return you back to the super universe, another super universes, right? Now, on the fourth circuit, we also have the Michael's worlds, right? And it says up here, there are 7 worlds on this fourth circuit where Paradise Michaels maintain special service schools of mutual ministry to both the ascending and descending pilgrims. Do you see that? So these A's represent ascending sons, okay? And the D's represent descending sons, okay? So both groups are represented on these special service schools to ascending and descending sons. And these M creatures up here are the Michaels, okay? And they have these schools on these worlds so that we meet the ascending sons, meet the descending sons, and we learn about each other, basically, okay, on these worlds of the sons. And they also help us learn how to recognize the eternal sun. Okay, now, when and if someone fails, which on our super universe, number 7, very few ever fail to recognize the eternal Son, because we come from a universe that's a combination of the tendencies of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit, all three. But if they do fail, if someone does fail, they're sent back to a different universe, one that probably is more along the line of understanding the eternal Son himself, that super universe, which I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. I think it's the second one.
The second one is the eternal Son. It also could be a relationship between the Son, the Father, and the Son, and the Son and the Spirit. But that was my thought when I read this, was that more than likely probably sent to the second super universe to learn about the eternal Son.
I would think that would be the case, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I really did, because if you stay there a whole millennium, that would be what you would be concentrating on, right? Is the eternal Son. And then when you get back, you'll be better, equipped to recognize the eternal Son. Yeah.
This, let me ask a question here, Roger. On this reserve corps, that's inclusive of the 300-some-thousand that are there in excess of the 700,000. But say there isn't in some super universe, there is not, they're still in the process of developing another local universe. So that particular Son would be stationed on one of these 7 worlds before being sent to, or sending himself to a new local universe.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, the thing that we forget quite often is the fact that our local universe is only about 1/3 created. Do y'all realize that? About 2/3 of our local universe is in the process of creation. The planets haven't even been populated yet. So out of 10 million inhabited worlds, I think only about 3,200,000 are actually populated with human beings. So we got a long way to go in this local universe before we get to 10 million worlds. So we're a really super young local universe, right? So our Michael is very young, considered to some of the other Michaels that are farther along, right? Okay, but you could be totally correct, Mike. We might have 10% of the super universes that do not even have creator sons assigned to them yet. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, it's very much possible, and more than likely probable, really, when it comes right down to it.
We really are babies.
Yeah, we're babies in the universe. We're little children of God, right? Okay, let's move on to the third circle. Oh, and I want to mention this again, Ed, since we're being recorded now. For those who were with us last time, I talked about the 2 books that Mike and Ed brought to our attention, the study aids of the universe, right? That's what one of them that we're reading from. And also, let me give it over here so people can see it. And also the Urantia Ascenders Guide by Hera Davis, right? And that's what we're reading from tonight. Well, Ed brought up the fact that Hera Davis had another work called the Urantia Workbook. And I just got my first copy of that this weekend. Got one from me and Diane. And I'll tell you what, y'all,
Amazing.
I highly, highly recommend you ordering this one too.
It would be a wonderful book to give to your children and your grandchildren.
This is totally different, like Ed said. This is the applied Urantia ethics, and it goes through so many useful things from the book that will guide you in life. That's it's really amazing. It's totally different than the other 2, but it will guide you through your personal relationships with having kids, just a lot of different things, and even about Jesus's personality. And it is very well put together. She did a wonderful job on this one too.
The meditation on the back, the last
There's
page.
meditation. There's also a
Everything is beautiful in it.
like a concordance, the last 10 pages. It's pretty nice too if you just want to look something up real quick. So it's a handy little book to have, but I did want to mention that.
It's a guidebook to living for living.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
is.
That's good.
So
Third book, Roger, a
that's
third.
it's a third book. Yeah, it sure is. And it's
And,
it's different than the other two completely. You
what
know,
was the name of that one?
the third one, oh, it's Urantia Workbook. Looks like that. It's a yellow
When
book.
when you go online, to Amazon,
Yes,
they offer the set of 3.
yes,
Oh,
you
what
can,
a
you can
shame, I
get the
only
set of,
got the 2.
I think it's about $45 or something.
yeah, for all 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ordered 2 of them together and then ordered the third one because I didn't even see the thing where you could order all 3.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't either.
Wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention. But
Same here.
You get the Ascension Handbook, the Urantia Workbook, and the study guide,
right,
study aids.
study aids. Yeah. And if you're studying Jesus's life, the study aids is something to have for sure. Let y'all know. Okay. Let's see. Let's move on to the third circuit. Ed, do you want to take the third circuit from the
All right.
book?
On the third circle, we recognize the universal Father and become spirits of the 5th order. It is a momentous occasion when we arrive on this pilot world and the transit trio announced that the last venture of time is about to begin. Attaining the universal Father is our passport to eternity. We are tutored by the Father guides, the older, higher skilled, and most experienced of the seraphic ministers. We attend their schools of wisdom and colleges of techniques where all the beings inhabiting the central universe serve as teachers. At the end of this circuit, the goal of deity has been achieved. The broadcasts of Havana flash forth in glory, proclaiming that we have become in reality and eternally a perfected Son of God.
Okay,
This
so
is our 5th
What a truth.
Jubilee.
the 5th Jubilee. So this makes us 5th stage spirits, right? Okay, which is very important. This is next to the last order of spirits we become. The 6th stage being the one we become when we become finaliters, right? So this is a very important step. The other thing I want to bring out in this paragraph is the fact that this is at this stage, all ascenders and descenders both become what? Teachers. Okay. Teachers. So it's like we talked about before, the whole pathway of the ascension plan. We teach those that come behind us the things that we learn. Okay. So if you don't think you're a teacher, you got news coming. You're going to become one on this journey sooner or later. Okay. So you will become teachers of this information sooner or later. We hope sooner than later. All right. That's why I keep saying it's not so important if you learn this in this world. If you got friends and you've tried to introduce them to the book and they just shut you down, don't worry about it. Because when they get to the mansion worlds, they will be required to learn this stuff. It's just you learning it in this lifetime gives you a big jump, right, on what's to come. Okay. The other thing about this third circle is this is where we recognize whom? The most
The
important,
universal Father.
the universal Father, the most important of all the beings, right? So this third circuit becomes really, really important to us. And even though we just read it in this paragraph, I'm going to read this little paragraph at the end here again. When the pilgrim soul attains the third circle of Havona, he comes under the tutelage of the Father Guides, the older, highly skilled, most experienced of the superaphic ministers. On the worlds of this circuit, the Father Guides maintain schools of wisdom and colleges of technique, wherein all beings inhabiting the central universe serve as teachers. That includes everybody, right? Which will include us. So on this circuit, we will become teachers. All right. And on this world, the next slide tells us on pilot world number 3, when the ascender has obeyed the Father's command to be perfect, the transit trio announces that the ascender seeks entry to paradise. Who are this trio, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to show you back up here again who this trio is. Let's buzz back up here. Right here. And here is the transit trio, okay? The graduate guide, the ascender, and the Havona servitor. You see that?
Mhm.
That's the transit trio, because that's who you will be moving with and traveling with on this seraphim. All right. All right.
If I may, I know you all don't use the book, but I looked up to find out what are the Jubilees.
Yeah, the 7 Jubilees. Right.
And,
Mhm.
I'd like to read that if I may. I mean,
You
do all y'all know what the Jubilees are? If you don't, I'm just being redundant.
Yeah, we do, but I want you to go ahead and read
Yeah.
it anyway, Mike. It doesn't hurt to hear it again.
Okay. After the attainment of supreme satisfaction of the fullness of worship, you are qualified for admission to the core finality. The ascendant career is well nigh finished. The 7th Jubilee prepares for celebration. The first Jubilee marks the mortal agreement with the thought adjuster when the purpose to survive was sealed. What's that mean?
That means you have made an irrevocable decision to fuse with your adjuster, and you can do that in this life. I have already made that irrevocable decision that one day I will fuse with my adjuster. I am betrothed to my adjuster through the rest of my life and through the lives it takes until I fuse with it on the mansion world. And that is the first Jubilee.
Well, in my opinion, it's when we are given our thought adjuster when we make our first moral decision. That's the way I read it. Of course, it could be your way too.
Yeah, could be either one.
That's the way I look at it. The second was the awakening in the Urantia life, First Nation world. The third was the fusion with the thought adjuster.
Right.
The fourth was the awakening in Havona to start this little journey we're talking about now.
Right.
The fifth celebrated the finding of the universal Father. That's the one we're on right now.
Right.
And the 6th Jubilee was the occasion of the paradise awakening from the final transit slumber of time. To me, that we wake up on the shores of paradise.
And we're a citizen at that point too.
And the citizen.
Yes.
The 7th Jubilee marks entrance into the mortal finality core finality, and the beginning of our eternity service. Service. I'd seen that term before. I never knew what the Jubilees were. And then of course, I'm going to find it. And sure enough, page 305, if anybody's interested. It's in the second to last paragraph.
Yeah, there's something else there too I want to mention. They talk about part of the 7th Jubilee is the entire 7 super universes reaching light and life. Okay. So in essence, when we become finaliters, what are we doing? We're committing to light and life, if you think about it, right? So that becomes our personal seventh Jubilee. But the seventh Jubilee of all the super universes actually happens when all 7 super universes reach light and life. Okay.
Well, these are referencing personal jubilees, aren't
Yeah,
they?
those are
That's what
personal.
these are.
Yeah, those are personal jubilees. I'm talking about the 7 super universe, 7th super
Okay,
universe.
that certainly makes sense.
Yeah. All right. And let's see, did I read this already? I believe I did. Okay. All right. It says, when the Ascenders has obeyed the Father's command to be perfect, the transit trio announces that the Ascender seeks entry into paradise. And that's during one of these trips we take, or vacations to paradise. Okay. All right. Let's move on to circuit number 2. We're going to actually get through all these tonight. All right. Who else has a book that wants to read? Jane, did you get your book?
Yes, I did.
Would you like to read number 2 then tonight?
Certainly.
Mhm.
Okay. On the second circle, we become familiar with the paradise hosts. The counselors and advisors are our instructors. Those who fail on the third circuit come here for a long sojourn before being certified as passing the Havana test and only failing in some technique of approach or some part of their experiential background before returning to the super universe service. They go with joy and gladness. Those who are successful enjoy a pleasurable and profitable sojourn here, but part of us long to go back to the worlds of time and start again. This is similar to wanting to be young again on Urantia. We are now prepared for the great and final rest before attaining paradise. Our graduate guides pilot us to the inner circle.
So it's interesting that on the second circle, if you failed on some part of it, this is where you go and kind of rehabilitate for a while before they send you back to the 7 super universes. Okay. And then when you come back to the Havana circuit, you are prepared to finish what you started on the second circle once again. Okay. So it's kind of a little break period. It's not like you really did anything wrong. It's just your approach was not quite right for some reason. Okay. Yep. They coach you along. Okay. And now we move on to guess what? This is still the second circle. I wanted to read this. All right. The transport personalities, these beings of origin on circuit number 6, usually operate from planetary number 40 of the outermost circuit. It is they who take away the disappointed candidates who transiently fail in the deity adventure. They stand ready to serve all who must come and go in the service of Havana and who are not space traversers. So that's how you move, is the transport personalities for these. All right. And that's talks about the same thing.
Oh, there they are again.
Yep. Pilot world number 1. All right, here we go. From the second circuit, we move on to circuit number 1 in a second here. But what I want to show you here is the graduate guides personally pilot their subject to the inner circle and place them in the custody of the complements of rest. And we're going to talk about this in a second. All right. All right, so let's go to number 1. And Mike, could you read the number 1 paragraph there?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Number 1, arrival on the first circle signifies our acceptance into the service of paradise. The complements of rest further our education with regard to adjusting to the many groups of beings we will encounter on paradise. Reception companions are assigned us are assigned to us in the last days of our sojourn here. They examine our records and are well versed in our ascendant career. They are sympathetic and intriguing companions. We go to sleep on the pilot world together with our complement of rest, who accompanies us on the transition slumber of the last resurrection.
Okay, so the complements of rest actually prepare us for all the different kinds of beings we're going to encounter on paradise. So when you arrive in paradise, there's no big shock, okay? Because you can imagine going into paradise and have 3,000 different types of beings that you haven't met before, right? So the complements of rest prepare our minds and our souls for this adventure of meeting all these different beings. And so they actually go to sleep with us and wake up on the mansion worlds. So we're totally comfortable. I'm on the mansion worlds, on paradise, so that we're totally comfortable when we wake up on the shores of paradise.
This
right?
complement of rest is a being.
Is a being. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the one that actually, it's a long sleeper, long journey from Havana to paradise. This is the long rest. Now, this is not the same as going to paradise to visit, okay? Those are two different trips. Apparently, the one where you you're transformed into a paradise citizen is totally different, okay? And they make the point of that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me read the bottom of this paragraph here about the Havana 1 circuit. Arrival on the first circuit of Havana signifies the acceptance of the candidates of time into the service of paradise. Indefinitely, according to the length and nature of the creature ascension, they will tarry on the inner circuit of progressive spiritual attainment. So you could stay there for long periods of time. From this inner circuit, the ascending pilgrim passes inward to paradise residence and admission to the core of finality. So when you're ready at this point, this is what prepares you for your admission into the core of finality, right? All right. Let's see here. I'm read out. Letch, can you read that bottom paragraph there on the screen for me? Can you read that okay? On this innermost circuit?
On the innermost circuit, both the ascending and the descending pilgrims fraternize with each other and with the creature trinitized sons. Like their parents, their sons derive great benefits from interassociation, and it is the special mission of the
Supernafin.
To
Facilitate.
dilate and to ensure the confraternity of the trinitized sons of the mortal spirit. The confraternity of trinitized sons of the mortal. Yeah, I can only see it.
Oh, and the trinitized sons of the paradise citizens. Yeah. So on this inner circuit, not only will we fraternize with other types of beings and right, we will also fraternize with the trinitized sons, and we'll trinitize with the paradise citizens. Okay, so there'll be a lot of types of beings on these pilot worlds, the pilot worlds of the first circuit, that we'll get to meet and interassociate with. All right. Millie, are you out there? Or no, she went somewhere. Okay. Still on circuit 1. Okay. Well, I'll read this one then. The majestic complement of rest enters the rest as one with you. When you wake up, an instigator of rest will welcome you on the shores of paradise. So the complement of rest goes with you, and then an instigator of rest wakes you up. Okay. So that's what these guys do. I mean, that's their job, right? All right. And that brings us down to the next paragraph. And we made it all the way through all 7 of the circles, believe it or not. Okay, so let's keep going here, and we will probably get through this section tonight, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Did Millie get back? No. Okay. Diane, would you take the next one then?
Am I supposed to be muting or unmuting her?
No, you don't have
I
to.
don't have to, okay. During your sojourn in Havona as a pilgrim of ascent, you will be allowed to visit freely among the worlds of the circuit of your assignment. You will also be permitted to go back to the planets of those circuits you have previously traversed. And all this is possible to those who sojourn on the circles of Havona without the necessity of being in super okay.
Right.
The pilgrims of time are able to equip themselves to traverse achieved space, but must depend on the ordained technique to negotiate unachieved space. A pilgrim cannot leave Havona nor go forward beyond his assigned circuit without the aid of a transport Supernafin.
So I got good news for you and bad news for you. The good news is any place you've been before, you can fly there on your own. How about that? That's pretty special, is it?
Yes, it is.
The bad news is the places you haven't gone before, you still have to be in Supernafin before you can go there, right? And to come back from there. But think about this, as you go from the worlds of Havona, from the billion worlds of Havona, as you go from planet to planet, that adds one more planet to your ability to fly through space and go back to that planet again. How about that? Pretty special. Yeah.
Do you have to go alone? I mean, would you be going with other?
No, you probably would do that with your Havona Servital, and those assigned to you to help you out.
Okay.
Because you're always going to have guides with you, always, right? And that's pretty much it, the case from the mansion worlds on, right? You'll always have someone there to guide you along. Okay, but that's pretty special if you think about it. So one day we'll fly. I guess we'll get over any fear of heights. Huh?
Fear of flying.
That's right. That's good to know, right? All right, Millie's back, so we'll let Millie take 14.5.6.
There is a refreshing originality about this vast central creation. Aside from the physical organization of matter and the fundamental constitution of the basic orders of intelligent beings and other living things, there is nothing in common between the worlds of Havona. Every one of these planets is an original. It's unique and exclusive creation. Each planet is a matchless, superb, and perfect production. And this diversity of individuality extends to all features of the physical, intellectual, and spiritual aspects of planetary existence. Each of these billion perfection spheres has been developed and embellished in accordance with the plans of the resident eternal of days. And this is just why no two of them are alike.
So we have a billion individual, totally different worlds to go to, right? A billion of them, y'all. Think about that. And no two of them are alike. tell you what, you probably get over your urge to travel by then, huh?
So dang. That old Bill.
There's Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey,
Hey. Hello.
How you doing?
Man.
Hanging in there. How about
Good,
you?
good, good.
Good.
We're on 1457, Bill. Can you see it on
Okay.
the screen there?
Yeah.
You want to take that next paragraph? Because you will be up to read after Millie.
Okay. All right. Not until you traverse the last of the Havana circuits and visit the last of the Havana worlds with the tonic of adventure and the stimulus of curiosity disappear from your career. And then, will the urge, the forward impulse of eternity, replace its forerunner, the adventure lure of time.
So I guess we get our fill of traveling, but we still have the adventure lure of time before us, right? And I guess that prepares us for what? The outer space levels.
Space.
Yeah, that only makes sense. I can't even imagine going to 1 billion different worlds after all the worlds we went through to get there, you know?
No, okay. Well, it says the forward impulse of eternity
Right.
will replace its forerunner, the adventure lure of time.
And that's what kept us going, right? The adventure lure of time.
Right. The adventure lure of time.
Yeah.
Time is in the seven super universe area.
Right,
And
right.
if I correctly understand you, we're in Havana and Paradise, there's no such thing as time.
There's not by then. There's not. So,
Yeah.
well, we still have the sense of things happening in order, right? But there's no
And sequentiality.
sequentiality. That's right. Yeah, you have it right. Right. All right. Diane, would you take the next one? Monotony.
I think I just read.
Did you just read? I'm sorry.
I mean,
Ed, would you take the next one?
No
Yeah.
problem. Monotony is indicative of immaturity of the creative imagination and inactivity of intellectual coordination with the spiritual endowment. By the time an ascendant mortal begins the exploration of these heavenly worlds, he has already obtained emotional, intellectual, and social, if not spiritual, maturity.
It's about time, wouldn't you think?
So you gotta get all the way to Havana before you're mature. Jeez.
Yeah, it took us long enough, didn't it?
really.
Well, I guess I've always been a kid at heart. I've got a little bit to go. Yeah. Jane, would you take the next one?
Okay.
Okay.
Not only will you find undreamed of changes confronting you as you advance from circuit to circuit in Havana, but your astonishment will be inexpressible as your progress from planet to planet within each circuit. Each of these billion study worlds is a veritable university of surprises. Continuing astonishment, unending wonder, is the experience of those who traverse these circuits and tour these gigantic spheres. Monotony is not a part of the Havana career.
Look at all we have to look forward to, y'all. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, I almost can't wait to go. You know, it's just so much to look forward to. That's for sure. Mike, would you take the next one?
Yes, sir. Let me get that side by side there. Hang on just a second. Okay. Love of adventure, curiosity, and dread of monotony. These traits inherent in evolving human nature were not put there just to aggravate and annoy you during your short sojourn on earth, but rather to suggest to you that death is only the beginning of an endless career of adventure, an everlasting life of anticipation, and an eternal voyage of discovery.
So that's why we have all these things inside of us, isn't it? Right?
Mm.
love of adventure, curiosity, dread of monotony. We all have those things. Okay. And there's a reason they were put there, right?
Yeah. Roger,
What's to come? Yes, Jane.
you may be able to quote something that I heard, which is really coming so strongly to me right now, but I don't think I can quote it. It goes something like, no eyes have seen, no ears have heard. Though I don't know if it's the wonder or the joy God has in store for those who love him.
That's right. That's Jesus. That's a quote from Jesus. No eyes.
Right.
That's exactly right. That's from the New Testament. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Good, Jane.
The things that God has prepared for those who love him. That's basically
Yeah.
what so, your love of God is there for a purpose. And that love of God, he returns to us in these wonders of not only the mansion worlds and our trip to Havana, but all the worlds of Havana also. So you think about this, and Jesus quotes it as the things that God has prepared for us. That he doesn't even mention the things that he has prepared for us, does he? All right. So he's talking about the things that God prepared for us. And it's just, that's a perfect quote for this right here.
That's so beautiful, what you just recited, because you think about that and you think this is Jesus telling about our ascension journey when he's saying it. That's why I read that. And to be able to be exposed to this through this book, I mean, just how fortunate we are to be receptive to it.
Yeah, it really is.
All the ones that aren't.
And it takes that quote from Jesus and opens it up into a brand new light, if you think about it, right?
Indeed.
Because we understand what he's talking about now, right? Before it was a pretty quote, but now it has such depth and meaning,
Yeah.
It really does.
Goodness.
All right.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
The difference.
Letch, would you take the last one there?
Curiosity is spirit and the urge of discovery, the exploration is a part of the inborn and divine endowment of evolutionary creatures. These natural impulses
Well, he's got a bad connection.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hear him. I didn't hear him before.
Letch, we're losing, you're breaking up on us so bad we can't understand you.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't think he can hear us either.
No, he's frozen.
Yeah. Yeah, we lost him, I think. All right, let me read through it real quick again, just to reiterate it. He's coming in and out. Ages to come. Okay, Letch, I'm going to reread this because you broke up so bad. We got parts of it we didn't. All right. Curiosity, the spirit of investigation, the urge of discovery, the drive of exploration is part of the inborn and divine endowment of the evolutionary space creatures. So these things are put inside us so that we have this natural urge to discover, right? And natural urge to explore. and is part of all evolutionary space creatures. So think about it this way. If there are aliens flying around this planet, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, aren't they? Right? They're exploring and they're investigating us, right? All right. And it goes on to tell us the natural impulses were not given to you merely to be frustrated and repressed, because that's what they would cause if you couldn't do any of this, right? The true ambitious urges must frequently be restrained during your short life on earth. Boy, that's the truth. Disappointment must be often experienced, but they are to be fully realized and gloriously gratified during the long ages to come. So if we're patient, we're going to get to satisfy all these urges to come. How about that? Pretty special, huh?
I find that fascinating because this is, to me, adjutant spirit number 4.
Yeah, really.
Is knowledge, because it says, and I'm reading from it because I keep this thing always marked, the spirit of knowledge, the curiosity mother of adventure and discovery.
Does that not say it? Right there.
Right there, baby.
That says it right there, right? All right. Those things are put there for a purpose. All right. Millie, would you take the number 6 and all the way down to 6.5, because it's kind of all one statement there. Unmute Mike, unmute Millie. You're muted, Millie. There you go.
The purpose of the central universe. The range of the activities of 7 circuited Havona is enormous. In general, they may be described as 1, Havona, 2, paradisical, and 3, ascendant finite, supreme, ultimate, evolutional.
Okay, what are they saying here? They're saying the range of Havona can be described as 3 sections, right? The Havona, that's all the circuits, okay? The 7 circuits of Havona. Then parasitical, that is our living in paradise, okay? So that's our interaction with paradise itself. And the third one, this is a big one, ascendant, finite, super, ultimate, evolutionary. So that covers from when we were finite beings ascending through finite all the way through the supreme, ultimate, evolutional, and that's all the way to the 4 outer space levels. So this covers the range they're talking about in just Havona, right? All right, I'm getting feedback.
The range of the activities.
Well, we're getting feedback from something.
In general, they may be described as.
Oh, we got something caught in a loop. That's when Millie was reading.
And 3, ascendant finite, supreme, ultimate, evolution.
It sounds like messages from outer space.
It does. Yeah. I guess I offended the aliens, didn't I?
Got their attention.
Then parasitic. That is our living paradise. That's me reading now. Okay? So it's playing back, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's odd. That is really odd. Okay, let me see how much we got left here, y'all. We got I think we'll take it, stop there, and we'll take up the rest of this next time, because we're not going to be able to get through it tonight. And with all these weird, this is a big one. This covers from when we were finite beings. That's me talking now. Supreme ultimate evolution. That's all the way back to that.
Siren in the background.
I don't know. All right.
I think you've been hacked.
I think we have.
Think you've been hacked.
That's strange. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, y'all. Let's stop the share. And let's say a little prayer and we'll end for the night since we got so much interference here. All right. Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight. Thank you for these people that come and study this revelation with us. We thank you for those at home that study with us and hope they enjoyed it as much as we did. We give you the praise and we give you your son, Michael, the praise. And we say this in his name. Amen.
Amen.
Go ahead and hit the stop there for the record.
All right.
And